I'm Parker McFarland, a partner with the law firm of Banks, Stubbs, and McFarland. And I want to talk to you today about uninsured motorist insurance coverage. I can't tell you how many times I ask a new client, do you have uninsured motorist coverage? And the answer is, it's the deer in the headlights look. People don't generally know if they have UM or uninsured motorist coverage, and if so, how much coverage they have. The problem is that there are many drivers who are on the roads of the state of Georgia who do not have insurance coverage for a variety of reasons. Perhaps someone missed a payment. Perhaps there's an excluded driver, a prodigal son situation where someone's gotten too many traffic citations or caused too many accidents and they're not an insured driver. If that person hits you, you don't have coverage. Also, a situation where someone does not have permission to drive the car. If they hit you, no coverage. So you need to make sure that you're covered. If a person does not have uninsured motorist benefits and they're involved in an accident caused by somebody else's negligence, they're going to have to pay for this accident. They're going to have to pay for their medical bills out of their own pocket. And that's a travesty. The other thing that coverage provides is what's called underinsured motorist coverage. So if you get hit by someone else and there's not enough coverage, you have a policy that will provide coverage to pay for your losses. Now, Georgia law only requires $25,000 in liability insurance, which is just not enough coverage. $25,000 is nothing. And if you are injured by someone's negligence and you go to the hospital, you take a few x-rays, you spend a few hours there, you can rack up a $25,000 bill very easily. Never mind if you need to go to the orthopedic, get some MRIs, do some physical therapy, maybe go to the chiropractor, get some injections, which are very expensive. God help you if you actually need surgery, which is incredibly expensive. The point is that coverage is very cheap. It's pennies on the dollar, and you need it. Now, if the legislator only requires $25,000 in coverage, and I really think it ought to be more like $100,000, but if our state's not going to protect you, then you need to protect you by making sure that you've got at least $100,000 in coverage. And that's my recommendation. Personally, I have $300,000 in coverage, but you need to make sure that you're covered. The last thing that I want you to do is make sure that you've got what's called add-on coverage, okay? That means that the coverage you select would be added to the coverage provided by the liability carrier. I've seen far too many insurance companies sending paperwork to clients of mine who just sign them, and in that paperwork, they reject add-on coverage in favor of what's called traditional coverage or reduced by coverage. Don't get that. Make sure that you get add-on coverage. Here's why that matters. If you get traditional coverage, or what used to be known as reduced by coverage, and you've got $100,000 in coverage, and the at-fault driver has $100,000 in coverage, you actually have zero benefits, even though you've probably thought you had $100,000. If you've got $25,000 in coverage and the liability carrier has $25,000, it's zero. It's reduced by, the is reduced by the liability insurance. Here's one last example. If you've got $100,000 in coverage and the liability carrier has 50, then that 50 is reduced from the 100 that you've got, and you've actually only got 50. You're only underinsured to the tune of $50,000. Now, if you've got $175,000 in losses, when you add up your medical bills, your lost wages, your pain and suffering, you're left holding the bag on $75,000 in that case. That's $75,000 of losses that's going to stay in your pocket. I don't want that to happen to you. So these are my recommendations for you. Number one, make sure that you've got coverage. Call your insurer today to make sure that you're covered. Make sure you've got a minimum, bare minimum of $100,000 in coverage. That's added on to the liability coverage. Make sure that it's add-on coverage. Read your paperwork carefully. If you have any questions, let me know. The last thing I'm going to recommend for you is that you get $25,000 in medical payments coverage. This is going to help you actually pay your bills as your claim progresses, as you're waiting on a lump sum payment from the insurance company. It's going to prevent your bills from going into collection. And at the end of the day, it's going to make it easier for you to get made whole when this whole accident was caused by someone else's negligence. So that's our time for today. I wanted to tell you that there's a lot of bad drivers out there. Stay safe out there, but make sure that you're covered. Take care.